Tonight at 6 o'clock, another day of new evidence presented to the jury in the Delphi murders trial.
It has been more than 7 years now since Abby Williams and Libby German were murdered near the Monon High Bridge. And since then, not much has been shared about what investigators uncovered from the scene.
Well, today the jury was shown a video clip captured on Libby's phone before their deaths. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel was in the courtroom as that video was played, and Bob joins us live in Carroll County tonight to explain. Bob.
Ann and Scott, the prosecutor and state police insist the person who killed Abby and Libby is someone known as Bridge Guy, someone who Libby German recorded on her cell phone in the moments before the murders took place, is what we're led to believe. And that video can be a crucial part of this trial. Well, today the jurors got to learn about Bridge Guy. For the first time, the jury and those of us in the courtroom got to see a full 43-second clip that Libby recorded on her phone. The judge is not releasing evidence and exhibits that are entered outside the courtroom. So I can't show it to you, but I can tell you about it. So the video that we saw today, it shows the girls on the bridge. We heard Libby say, "There's no path." And then, nearly undetectable in the background in the video, an image of a man walking behind the girls and his faint voice at the very end. This afternoon, jurors heard a video and audio specialist from Indiana State Police describe how he enhanced the video to isolate a still picture of Bridge Guy, and how he also enhanced the video to hear his voice saying the audio you just heard, "Down the hill." The jury saw that image and heard the video that we have all heard so many times before. Now the jury has seen it as well. The most important testimony today came from 3 women who insist they saw Bridge Guy on the trails and on the bridge just before the time that the murders happened. And they all recognized the picture of Bridge Guy that was released by state police. And they had very definitive, direct quotes to the jury. One of the witnesses said, "I can say with confidence, the person in the picture is the person I saw." Another said, "That is the person we passed on the trail." The third witness said, "I immediately knew when I saw that photo that was released by state police, that was the man I saw on the bridge." But there is a huge problem for the state that came up during cross-examination. That's because witnesses described Bridge Guy, all of them described him pretty much the same way. And among those descriptions that I want you to hear, they describe Bridge Guy as a larger man, a tall man, not short, someone in his 20s or 30s, someone who is muscular, boyish, and youthful in appearance. One said that he had brown, poofy hair. Why is that a problem for the state? Well, because none of those descriptions actually match the defendant sitting in the courtroom. Richard Allen is, by most accounts, short. He was in his mid-40s at the time that the murders happened, not particularly muscular. That could be a problem for the state, because you have jurors right now who have heard and are going to hear from investigators. They are positive that Bridge Guy committed the murders. They've just heard from 3 witnesses who are on the trails who say, "We saw Bridge Guy," and the description that they just provided the jurors, it doesn't match the man who is just sitting a few feet away from the jury. So interesting developments today, and I do want to share one poignant moment with you outside the courtroom. It was the first time we had seen that 43-second video, the first time that the families had seen it as well. Right in this gazebo that's right behind me, right over here during the lunch break, I spoke with Libby's mom because I just wanted to confirm, was that audio that we heard, the audio saying "there's no path," was that Abby or Libby? She said it was Libby, and she said, "I almost fell over. I haven't heard that voice in way too long." Again, a reminder, what this trial is really about, the pain that is being felt here, and that these families are experiencing as they have to listen to the testimony and hear this evidence, much of it new evidence that's coming out every day. In Delphi, Bob Siegel, 13 News.
Bob, thank you so much. Today, 13 News also gets a look at thousands and thousands of exhibits. This after 13 Investigates filed a motion to have access to the exhibits.
So some of these exhibits won't be shown to the jurors. Our Emily Longnecker spent today in Allen County going over what those pretrial exhibits include.
There are literally thousands of pages of pretrial exhibits to view, and we spent most of the day trying to do just that. We were not allowed to videotape any of them, to take photos of any of them. I only had a pen and paper to copy down what I was looking at. Here's what was not included in those exhibits from the pretrial: autopsy reports for Abby Williams and Libby German, along with emails from Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter that includes updates to the FBI in the early days of the investigation. We also didn't see a report from Steve Mullins, the investigator for the state who was Delphi's police chief when the murders happened. We learned in pretrial hearings that report from Mullins detailed interactions that he had with a possible suspect. Now, the state objected to the defense entering that report, claiming it was hearsay. Here's what we did see: exhibits dealing with Odinism, a Norse pagan religion. The defense believes Abby and Libby were killed as part of an Odinistic ritual, and they've deposed several people they believe could be involved. Now, we read through some of those depositions today, hundreds and hundreds of pages. Keep in mind, Judge Gull has ruled the jury will not hear mention of that ritual killing theory or these other alleged suspects, a ruling that came out of the pretrial hearings. But of course, the most notable exhibit that we looked at today, and we told you about at 5, was that form, that interview request form that Richard Allen allegedly filled out in prison for a request with the prison warden, John Gallipo, saying that he was ready to confess to the killings of Abby and Libby, and he hoped he got the chance to apologize to their families. We know that the judge has already ruled that the jury will hear 60 plus alleged confessions during this trial, and we expect that form will be part of this. In Allen County, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
All right, Emily, thanks so much. And remember, we'll be digging deeper into what unfolded in both courtrooms during our Delphi debrief, which is tonight on WTHR+. You can watch the stream every weeknight at 10 to catch up on the daily developments in the trial. WTHR+. It's free download. You can get it on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku. Tonight at 6, the driver who's accused of hitting and killing a 14-year-old boy on the east side is in jail. All of this comes nearly 2 weeks after a deadly crash on Cumberland Road.
It was this morning that Joshua Rain turned himself in after a warrant was issued for his arrest last week. Our Lauren Kostick, the only reporter in the courtroom today.
The family of Alberto Rivera tell me they are relieved after the man police say hit and killed him is now behind bars. On Tuesday, 35-year-old Joshua Rain walked into the courtroom with his attorney for the first time. When asked about the allegations,
No, we don't have a comment. No, he has an attorney. We have no comment. Thank you.
Family of 14-year-old Roberto Rivera also showing up after pleading for an arrest for nearly 2 weeks, only to find out the suspect was someone they knew.
I'm glad that he's in custody. And I hope he doesn't drag us through a bunch of stuff because he knows what he did.
Rivera was hit and killed while riding his bike on Cumberland Road almost 2 weeks ago. Police say Rain never stopped and told investigators he thought he hit a deer. Officers found pieces of his car at the scene, including a personalized license plate. A neighbor also provided video. Investigators say Rain showed up at the police station the next day. However, charges weren't filed until a week later. That's when a warrant was issued for his arrest last Friday. At the time of the crash, Rain was also on probation for other charges.
If it wasn't for the warrant issue and him already being in trouble for a previous case, I don't think he'd have been here. If it wasn't for the fact that his license plate fell out on the ground, I don't think we'd be here. I don't think he would have told.
After the hearing, Rain was taken into custody inside the courtroom. Rivera's family now pushing for justice.
But we're going to get him justice, for sure.
Again, Joshua Rain is in the Marion County Jail and is currently not allowed to post bond, something his attorney hopes to change. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.